3, get 2 that are digital, including the e-villager, which you can get if you subscribe for free by just sending your number to our WhatsApp number 0812004144. 0812004144. You send your number to that number, and then we'll add you onto the list, the database. It's a huge database that we are building now. The issue of oil, it's something else that I will touch on, but I'm looking at that issue of oil from a different angle. And of course, like I said earlier on, the Namibian has put a figure to the oil to say that it's worth 344 billion Namibia dollar. And they got, because I was wondering, how did this guy, colleagues get to this figure here, 304 billion Namibia dollar. Now, this is what they are saying. The estimated average, there is an estimated average of 88 US dollar per barrel. And if you add up the quantities of the oil that is said to have been found, then you end up with 29 billion US dollars, which is equivalent to 334 billion Namibia dollar at current exchange rate. That's how they got to that figure here. But of interest to me, I've spoken about this before. It's not the first time that I'm talking about it. Qatar is also a partner in this deal. If there's oil that has been found, and Kelvin was just asking me now, so what does it mean? Most of us would want to know, if oil has been found in Namibia, what does it mean for the common man who is out there? And those who are, you guys who are listening, you would also want to know, what do you get out of it? Let me see, someone is trying to call me. All right, you would also want to know, so what? Does it mean better houses, or better houses? Does it only mean jobs? What does it mean? Does it mean an improvement in the health sector, an improvement in education? What does it mean? Does it mean anything at all? Because if we are going to learn, unless Namibia is going to do it differently, then we can be talking about some happiness and excitement. But if we are going to look at the situation of Angola, and we can also talk about the DRC, and let us talk about Nigeria. Nigeria is the biggest oil producer in Africa, and Angola, it can be the second, or sometimes it is the third. Right now, Angola sits on the third position. But does the oil that was found in Angola, does it translate to better livable lives for the people? Does it? Can you look at the people from Angola and then say to yourself that these colleagues are from a country that is rich? Top 3 biggest oil producer on the continent. Can you conclude that? So if we want, then, unless Namibia does it differently from the way Nigeria is doing it now, from the way the DRC is doing it now, and from the way Angola is doing it now, we might have a difference. But if it's not going to be done differently, there is nothing in store for you, the common man. That is what it means. And I'm basing this on what is already on the ground. In legal jargon, they say there is a precedent. The precedent here is very simple. Angolans are, most of them, they are suffering. And you know, they had to run away from Angola to come and seek refuge here. And some of them, the other day I was sharing with you the story of some of them who refused to go back. But it's a country that has got oil. And look at what is happening in Nigeria. It's chaotic. It's chaotic. And the DRC let me not talk. So if you want to know what will happen if oil is found in this country, look at Angola, look at Nigeria, look at the DRC. Unless, of course, Namibia does it differently. If it's the same format, the same structure, the same template, I don't see any reason to smile. Now, can you ask yourself why Reuters had to break this story and not a local media? It's not like local media, well, this could be true. This could be true here, that there is oil there. But local media got the story of oil from Reuters. And I saw the two guys who wrote that story, they are not from within, which means that they got that story from elsewhere. So if it's Namibian oil, then the story is broken somewhere else. And then Namibian media had to get the story from them. And you had the Mines Ministry spokesperson denying it, saying they are not aware of it. And Reuters usually doesn't lie. So where are we? And what is the situation here? So like I said here, the people who own, if there is oil, right, there is Shell, right? It's now called Royal Dutch Shell. And then there is also Qatar, right? Qatar Petroleum. So the shareholders here, Shell has a 45% stake, right? And Qatar also has a 45% stake in oil that we are saying has been found. And Namibia, through the National Petroleum Corporation of Namibia, NAMCO, Namibia holds 10%. And this is why I am saying here, the oil might have been found here, if indeed it has been found, but with a 10% stake. And I'll tell you that this 10% stake, NAMCO didn't put in any cent, but it's a gift, a token to say, we are in your country, so get this 10%. So there's no need for excitement. And for all what I know, where there is oil, there's blood. There's uncertainty. There's disturbances. Except, of course, where the government takes full control of that resource. And I'm talking about Qatar. No one in Qatar owns oil but the state. But here, the government through NAMCO owns a 10% stake. Minority share holder of oil that is under the ground here. You can't go and do that to Qatar. NAMCO can never go to Qatar and say, we are claiming a 45% stake in your oil. It won't happen. Neither will NAMCO go to Netherlands, where Shell is based, and demand a 45% if there is oil in Netherlands. It can't happen, but it's happening right here. So to answer Kelvin's question, there could be nothing for the dogs because the owners, they've slept on ice cream. The dogs now, they eat ice cream, yes. But if you, long back, they never ate ice cream. So if you want to starve your dog, you eat what your dog doesn't eat. So that's it. I'm not excited. And look at the DRC. Their wealthy has brought them so much trouble, so much death, and so much pain, and so much uncertainty. So I'm not excited unless the government comes up to say, we want this oil to be refined here. We want everything to be done here. I know it costs a lot of money, but isn't it a better thing to go and borrow money where they are borrowing money to to finance COVID-19 stuff? Isn't it a better thing to go and borrow money and invest in infrastructure where Namibia can also refine oil? If this oil has been found here, isn't it a better investment to go and borrow heavily, right? And then create an oil industry here. And then you also start to export. I think it's a better thing, it's a better deal. That kind of debt, it's a better debt that people will say, we invested here and we invested there. But it's not what is happening. And that takes me to my second story for the day. Now, this story here says that developing countries are paying more to service their debt than at any other time in the past 2 decades, with a heavier burden on the horizon if the United States raises interest rates this year as expected. So all the loans that we are getting, there are also some times when we have to pay more to service them in interest than the actual loan. So there are 16 countries, including Kenya and Malawi, who are actually stuck right now in a debt trap. 16 countries stuck in a debt trap. And there's no way that you can wiggle out. But like I am saying here, this money that is being borrowed, most of it doesn't go to infrastructure development. And if it goes to infrastructure development, it's an infrastructure that will not create any income. It won't. So can't we identify infrastructure that will create income streams, and then we can pay back from what we are earning? Can't we do that? I guess we can. It's only a matter of political will. And it's also a matter of people saying, we need to do this for our people. So African governments, they've been borrowing, but when COVID-19 came, they started borrowing to finance stimulus packages to support risk groups, struggling businesses, creative education solutions, and health-related infrastructure. That was fine. That was fine. But that was money that we sank. And that money never created any more money. It just went. It sunk money. So we need then to, when we are going to pay to service this debt, what we need is to find money elsewhere to pay this loan. We are not producing anything that then can create income to service the loans. We will be forced, right? Because we have consumed the money because of COVID-19. We will then be forced to go and look for money to pay. But where are we going to look for money to pay back if we are not producing anything? And this is why I'm linking this to say we need to borrow money to invest heavily in infrastructure. Once we borrow money to invest heavily in infrastructure, then we declare that no raw material is going to leave Namibia in raw form unless we can come up with exemptions. If there is oil that has been found there, this is the time to start to plan to say, where are we going to get money? Or we can force Shell, and we can force Qatar Petroleum to say, Namibian oil will not leave this land raw. We need to refine it here. So bring your refineries here. Bring them here. Build refinery centers, and after all, we have a storage already. So we are sorted. So why can't we come up with a law that will enforce them to invest in refinery equipment so that when oil is being exported, the government gets more than 10%? Why can't we do that if we cannot get a loan? So we are stuck up in loans that we had to go and borrow for COVID-19 stimulus packages, and businesses that were financed, some of them, they still closed down because it wasn't enough. COVID-19 didn't stop, didn't end. It kept on hitting hard. So they were hit so hard that they couldn't even stand. They collapsed. So why can't we then invest to say we are investing in equipment? So if Shell and Qatar Petroleum built their own refineries here, what it means, those they belong to Namibia. Namibians will not only be forced to be happy by getting piecemeal jobs, they will become owners. Why can't we force them? And I am telling you, that oil, if it's been found, it will be siphoned to some other country where they will refine it, where they will create jobs, and when it comes back to be sold to Namibia, the costs are unbearable. It's happening in Nigeria. So we must stop borrowing for consumption, but we must start borrowing now for investing. Because you can never go wrong if you choose your investment wisely. You can't go wrong. So I think those who are going back to Parliament, and I know people will start talking about it's not investor friendly. So we want to make it easier for the investors to come in, but we want to make it difficult for the citizens to live proper lives. So the investor must have it easy, but the citizens must forever be struggling. Is that what it means? I have heard this term. It's not investor friendly. It's not investor friendly. But do you also think that what we are saying is investor friendly? It's citizen unfriendly. Do you think that? Do you ever think that while you are pleasing those who are coming to invest, you are making your own citizens unhappy? And when they are coups, then you are like, what's happening? People will be seeing that we are rich, but where's the wealth going? So the equation must balance. Make the investor happy, but make your citizen happier. To make your citizen happier is just to say, guys, let us have laws that will stop any raw material from leaving this country, this continent. People will not have time to think of picking up guns because they are living proper lives. Who would want to destroy a decent life? For what? Once people get to know that they've got a lot to lose, they will defend what they have by not taking up guns. But once people think that they have nothing to lose, they will also want to destroy what you have that they don't have. It's very simple. So now we are worried. There are coups, and you don't know exactly what that coup is a result of. It's a result of frustrations and happiness. And it's very easy, like I said, NAMCO today can never go to Qatar and say, we want to invest in your oil here. You will be told, go back. You will be sent away like a dog. NAMCO can also not go to Netherlands today if Netherlands has got oil where Shell is best and declare that we want a 45% oil stake, and you, Shell, you are getting 10%. You won't survive. Maybe those who would have gone there, they will miss their plane. And yet here, we talk about investor friendly. Do we ever think about the people? Are we people friendly? Investors are people. But are your citizens happy? All right, it's 23 minutes past 7. That was about date and oil that I had to bunch up together. Now, there is another, this other story that I'm talking about. It's connected really because I've been seeing quite a number of people now. Quite a number of people, they are coming. If you look at, if you walk the streets of Windhoek, you can actually see that their fathers, their mothers, like those who go to Grove Mall. Have you seen mothers with their kids standing by the robots begging for money? Have you seen that? That's a whole family. And do you ever take time to ask yourself, where are they coming from? Do you ever take time while you are bowing down in your luxury cars? Do you ever take time to ask a mother with 3 kids, all of them begging? Do you ever take time to ask yourself, who are they? Where are they coming from? What is their tomorrow like? Do they have a future? Do you ever take time to think, oh, for you it has become normal. You have been desensitized to their pain. I know they are just beggars. Every beggar has got a story to tell. Do you even take time to find out who they are? Or when they approach you, you wind up your window and then you screw your nose to keep the smell away. Do you ever ask yourself, who are these people? But what I'm talking about here is, there is a story about the homeless in Windhoek. The population is growing and the future is getting more uncertain. That's what I'm talking about. But the new era went out, yes, of course, to try and talk to some of them. And like they are saying, they are yearning for better days. Because the more they are on the streets, the few food they will get. Because then there are more hands and more mouths. More hands that will be lifting the begging bowl and more mouths that will be waiting to eat. So the story says, despite being accommodated by government and some had managing to carve out a scant living, Windhoek's growing homeless community still faces uncertain future. When they were rounded up in March 2020, it was generally assumed that their stay at 2 sport facilities would be temporary. In 2020, when the coronavirus broke out, the government, with the help of the city police, relocated those without homes from the Commerce region to makeshift. Now, we also had this story here. But at the base of it all, I know last week but one, the team here covered this story. But at the back of it, the reason why I had to repeat this story is very, very simple. Nothing has been done yet. And it's clear that nothing will ever be done. Because now, apart from street kids we used to see roaming, they are now fathers and mothers. They have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to go. And if nothing is done, then that's a time bomb. That's a time bomb. Now, I spoke the other day of a small boy. When I came here in 2019, he was smaller than he is now. And in 2019, he was a calmer, peaceful person. Even when he approached you, he was so nice, But today, he will approach you with these blazing eyes, right? And you can't look at that boy in the eyes now. So scary. So scary. And he's growing up just by the robots down here. He's growing up there. And just imagine when he becomes a man, adult, what will happen? Where would he be? What is he going to do? What can this country do for him? Will he have a stake in the oil that is said to have been found that is worth 344 billion? Does he even know? And the other day, the same boy had to attack a man and damaged his car down there. And the other day he spat at me down there. So they are growing on the streets before our eyes, and we are doing nothing. So these are the things that we need to be talking about. Politics, yes, it is fine, but them too, they are victims of bad politics. That is why they are stuck up there. So the story here simply says the population of the homeless in Windhoek is growing, right, in numbers. And the kids are also growing in years. They are maturing. Without a home of their own, they don't know anything. And this is where I'm asking, does anyone, whether the members of parliament, whether ministers, do you ever take time to ask yourself, where are these people? And I've often heard that, no, these street kids, they are being taken back to where they came from, but they still come back to Windhoek. Now, I've spoken also about broken homes. You can't take a child. There is always a reason. When a child runs away from home, there is a reason. Unless those reasons, those causes have been addressed, the child will still run away from home. So you take him away, or you take her away from the comfort of the streets here to a home where he or she will be abused. You haven't dealt with the abuse. And in most cases, you haven't even done anything to understand the nature of the abuse that would have driven the boy or the girl out of the home. But still you say, we took them back, and they are still coming back. You are taking them back from where they don't want to be. And there are reasons why they don't want to be there. But you are taking them back there to do what? So everything else, if you look at it, all the problems that involve people, kids, you can trace them back to how the society has taken a wrong turn. You can take them back there. You can watch, and you can actually say, the society has taken a wrong turn here. But where do we find the right turn? We need to walk back. So we can worry, we can throw money, and the other thing is you can't throw money at a problem, because the money will just go, the problem will remain. Problems must be resolved. Right? People must just sit down and say, we think this is the cause. And you work through it. You work on it, and everybody else must be part to it. Especially where kids are involved. You need to work through whatever is there, and you need to understand. You can throw money. So social welfare can throw money, can do whatever they can do. But you are trying to use money to fix what doesn't need money to be fixed. The problem will stay. All right, I was also talking here about the oil thing, and it's also linked to uranium. Now, uranium, I think on 3 or 2 occasions, I spoke about how the Stamford community doesn't want uranium mining in that area, because it's a sensitive area, one, and there is underground water too. So they are continuing their fight. I think I'm looking at a picture here, and I'm trying to see. These are white compatriots, the Kalahari community. They get together, and this is why I admire our white compatriots, right? They understand, and when there's something that will affect them, they will stand together. They will hold hands regardless. It doesn't happen with our communities. But the Karar community here, they are claiming that they've got a huge problem with the prospect of uranium leaching that is likely to lead to high concentration of uranium and other heavy metals in drinking water. You remember that I spoke about the Russian company, Russian state-owned company that has been doing some uranium exploration here for 10 years. And no one, I didn't know it until I saw a story that we ran here. They've been exploring for uranium in Omaheke and Stembret there for 10 years. And then now they want to start the real mining. And this is why the Kalahari community are saying we can't allow you to mine uranium here because we've got water. Now, this one is a project that is being pushed by Headline Investments, and they want to mine uranium. Here they are using by way of in-situ leaching hangs heavy over the communal and farming communities of the Stemblet, Leonardville, and Aranos areas. Now, there was a meeting that was held by the Namibia Agricultural Union and the Stemblet Farmers Association, where serious concerns were raised regarding the uranium mining project. So they are saying we don't want. So you might be wondering why. Why is it that they are against this? And I will go back to the mantra that I've always heard. We are not investor friendly. And I will ask this again. Do we ever think of citizen friendly? So if you want to make one party happy and the other party, that is also a stakeholder said, what is it that you will gain out of it? Let us make our investors happy on our terms, right? They must be happy on our terms. Whether you are in wherever you are, investors must be happy on our terms. The moment we follow, and I have heard some economists suggesting a lot of things, and I'm like, all these other things, you are not factoring in the equation, into the equation, the citizens. So you please them, right? And what about the people back home? But the Stambrit community here, and this is exactly why they could be standing against the mining of uranium there. Because uranium, if you happen to ingest it, like you drink it in water, you might get acute kidney failure, and you might also die. And it can cause lung cancer, bone cancer, and a lot of other these silly cancers that you wouldn't know where they are coming from. So uranium, fine, it's a good thing, a good investment. But look, there are health concerns there, and this is why I'm asking still here. We will say, let us be investor friendly, and we allow this company to go ahead. And the communities, the kids and everyone else, if there is leaching, the uranium goes into the soil and down into the water, and people will drink that water. Are you being citizen friendly? You have made your investor happy, you have become a good friend. But ask yourself this: if you are a minister, if you are whoever you are in authority now, ask yourself that the citizen, are you also being friendly? It's an equation that when you are solving it, you get the same numbers on both ends. If you are going to make your investor happy, you must also make your citizen not happy only, but happier, because they are stakeholders. They own the country, and they own everything else that the country has. I have heard this, and I look at people saying, yeah, this country is not investor friendly. Now, even those who are demanding to be allowed to marry men to men, woman to woman, they've also joined that song. Yeah, no, the country will not be, there is no investor that is going to come here because this law is not fair. I'm like, guys, are we normal? Are we normal there? Are we fine? So you are roping in. So, guys, honestly, I've said this before and I'll say it again. We are suffering, and we were never homophobic on this continent here. Yet we are being re-imaged like devils. We never had a law. But when it comes, when people then start talking, if you remember the standoff between Barack Obama and Uhuru Kenyatta, it's that kind of thinking. And some people look at Barack Obama like an angel. He was the most useless president ever. The most useless president ever. He was like a kitchen boy. Now he will come and say, do this and do this. Africa was never homophobic. Now you will get people saying, because of this law, you are homophobic, and investors will not come. I'm like, honestly? Because of sex. Because of sex, so investors are not coming. Give us some serious, guys. Give us some serious here. And this is life. Now, this uranium miner, if he is going to be allowed, and people's water is contaminated, then what? And we don't have any uranium. We don't do anything to uranium here. It is taken out raw, and we don't know what they do with it and how is it. We don't know. Apart from the small jobs that people get, we don't know. Like I said here, I envy most of the times our white compatriots. They are standing together. In the picture that I have here, I can't see any black compatriot here. They are all whites. They know what they want, and they know what they must get. All right, it's 19 minutes to 8. All right, I move on now. I had a little bit of a chuckle here when I read the story about the PDM President McHenry Venani, saying that no one retires from politics at 44. He's right. And yesterday I was talking about an 80-year-old, 81-year-old, 85-year-old still contesting, right? They still want to be presidents. It's a lifetime dream. So at 44, you are just a teenager politically. You are just starting. You are a youth in actual fact at 44. So Venan says he will be there contesting because no one retires from politics at 44. And yesterday, ironically, I was also talking about those who are past their retirement age still, holding on to jobs. So would you believe or would you expect a 44-year-old politician to go home and do what at 44? That's exactly when the political game starts, 44. Because most of them, look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden will turn, 8, I think. And he was 79 when he was elected. And this is a guy from 1973. He was in politics, not as an ordinary person, no. And then his chance came. late 70s, 78, 79. There. So you are expecting Venani to go away at 44. That's a sick dream. Let him prepare himself. If the spirits favor him, then he might be sitting at the state house. But then the problem here is if you stay for too long and then you don't make any meaningful move, time will overtake you. Someone will come and you are still stuck in your traditional politics, and then a maverick guy will then come in and take over. And this is what actually happened in Senegal. For 30 years, there was a guy who was in opposition member for 30 years. And then his chance came after 30 years. And for 30 years, you are still there saying, I'll get there, I'll get there, I'll get there. 30 years. And 30 years is a lifetime. Some people don't just give up. Right. So the lottery is coming. That is according to one headline here. And then the lottery is not only coming, but it's coming because the headline also goes on to say the government wants money. It doesn't have money. It's very, very interesting because it actually says the cash-strapped government eyes gambling riches. Nice headline. All right. But then it says that the launch, there is a renewed effort to establish a national lottery to generate funds for various social welfare programs. This was confirmed by the Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Pohamba Shifeta, who says the government also wants to regulate the lottery and gambling industry, which is estimated to involve more than 20,000 illegal slot machines. So there is money that is going to waste there. So the government must just jack up and make sure that whatever is being made, then they will have a share, because they can't have shares. Now the funny part of it here is these 20,000 illegal slot machines, right? They might be owned by the average guy, your average guy out there on the streets. And when the government goes after that average guy, they will hit that guy hard. And yet, for bigger things like oil, they will settle for just 10%. But the lottery is not a very bad idea either, because this is exactly how some countries raise money. And maybe it's only Namibia that doesn't have it, but most of the countries do. Most of the countries do. So this is the time. This is the time. Why then must the government stand back where others are making money? It doesn't matter whether this is a cash-strapped government, but what matters here is that there is money to be made. And the lotteries are one such a source. There is money to be made, so why don't you make money? Let us go in and make money. That's it. We might say this and that, but who has never been broke? Like this January that we are talking about now, who has never been broke? So we are all broke, I guess. We are all broke, I guess. All right, it's 13 minutes to 8, and at 8 I will open up the lines and you can come through 083-288-401, 083-288-401, and you can also make your own contribution. Now, while talking about being broke, we are being told here that the tourism industry would require 520 million Namibia dollar for it to stagger onto its feet. 520 million injection needed for tourism healing. Let me be very frank here. I was scouting the net the other day, and then I just said, let me check, because there are some game farms in Namibia, where you do not come and pay your money here if you are coming from Europe or outside the country. Now, they will allow you to pay, right, for your stay in Namibia, wherever you are. They will give you an account, and that account is not a Namibian account. So you are paying in foreign currency. So when you pay in foreign currency, the money doesn't come to Namibia. It stays there. I've been checking that. Most of the joints in the tourism industry that are expensive, joints which you and me cannot afford to go to, when times were good, the money never came to Namibia. You will be asked to pay while you are still out there. And when you come, you only have your record of payment. So when you get here, what you can pay, maybe there are these small things that the government can get. But most, especially privately owned joints, those who come, they don't come with their money. They pay their money out there, and the money stays in a foreign account out there. Check it out. So they will just come here with their bags and cameras. And when they come here, maybe from food and this kind of thing. And this is what the privately owned joints in the tourism sector, they would charge so much that you or me can never think of going for a one-night stay there. And have you ever wondered why? And now they are asking for a 520 million injection. And this is called the Tourism Recovery Plan. 520 million. So this money is going to come from where? That is the question. And make no mistakes. Most of these joints, they might have made losses because of COVID, but their bank accounts, they are fat. Make no mistake. They are not mukus. No, they might have made lots of losses because of COVID. What they simply did was to close the tap, and they kept the money where it is, and they will never suffer. The owners will never suffer a single pain, not even in a day, because they just stopped spending and they kept their money there in foreign currency. And the worker who slaves all the other times, you go home, you will be told, look, there is a COVID, so we can't afford you. And have you ever sat back and asked yourself, but for the past 30 years you have been making money without COVID, where is that money? Where is it? Where is that money? We need to probe this. Where is that money? Now they want 520 million injection. I'm not quite sure whether this is from the government or they will raise and it's from the government, because the government will be blackmailed to put in this money because they think they will be saving jobs. They will be blackmailed here. That's why we are sending people home. And the government will bite and put this money there. But ask yourself, for the past 30 years, they've been charging people in foreign currency. Where is that money? Because that money must come in now to say, we have the reserves. Now we want to use that money. You won't find it. And the government will be blackmailed like we are sending people home. We are sending people home. But the government is so scared of sitting with a very big number of unemployed people. So you give them money. That's blackmail. This world, ne? Yes. This world. All right, I've got AgriBizDev episode 3. Remember that I said when this story started coming, it's a series. There was episode 1. Episode 1 was actually about how the management had connived with some suppliers, right, to fix prices. And episode 2 was about how the government had mismanaged or had been part to complicity to the mismanagement of agribusiness. Now I'm sitting here with episode 3. Now episode 3 is looking at how agribusiness is homeless. They don't have offices. So according to this story here, Green Scheme operator agribusiness, which is knee deep in 75 million Namibia dollar debt, has no office of its own and is getting its staff salaries from its line ministry. And then there is a killer line there which says, this is a spectacular case of a failed public enterprise. Now the entity is bleeding money and made massive losses over recent years, with taxpayers having to fork out more than over 50 million in bailouts and bank guarantees between 2017 and 2019. The figures are contained in a Deloitte forensic probe into the business operations of agribusiness. Like I said, it's the same report. It's a nice trick, a nice take. You stagger the stories according to the topics, in the report. Then you have the episodes. Episode 1, episode 2, this one is episode 3. But here it says that agribusiness owes Agribank 19.4 million, and it owes Nampower 15.2 million, and it owes Kainoch 9 million, Namwater 8.5 million, and it hasn't paid payee. So they've got an outstanding pay as UN of 3.9 million. These are huge figures. And we are talking about agribusiness, an entity that was supposed to make money from green schemes, from the land, guys. And they couldn't do that. And I listened to the acting managing director of agribusiness the other day. I couldn't help but shake my head because she was talking about how the staff was resisting some of the changes that she had come with. The staff, like you have to clock in and that kind of thing, she was saying they ignored her. So now when a business goes down, you were so comfortable in not working, so comfortable in not contributing. Now the business is going down. This is where you must. Now I spoke about the trap the other day, the mouse and the trap, where the mouse saw that the owner of the house had set a trap. Then the mouse went to the goat and then said, "Goat, there's a trap there. This trap here will also affect us." And the goat said, "I don't stay in the house. That trap was set for you." And then the mouse went to the cow and then said, "Cow, there's a trap there. That trap will affect us." And then the cow said, "Haha, me, I've never been there, so a trap can never even catch me." And then the mouse went to the chicken and then said, "Chicken, there's a trap there. If anything happens to that trap, all of us here." And then the chicken said, "That's for you. You are the one who is not wanted here." So what happened? Now a snake then saw this mouse, and then the snake chased the mouse right into the house. And the mouse went past the trap, but the snake didn't see that there was a trap, and the snake's tail was caught in the trap. So when the owner who had set the trap heard the trap falling, he came running, thinking that the mouse had been caught. Instead, he was confronted by an angry snake that was feeling the pain. So the snake then bit the man, the owner, and he started falling sick, and then he was taken to the hospital, and people started gathering. And then while people were gathering now, they were like, "No, this guy is serious. We cannot just go like that." And then they said, "But there's no food here." And then they said, "No, there's a chicken there. Hen is there." So they ran, and then they caught the hen. And when the hen was being dragged away, Hen's eyes met Mouse's eyes, and Mouse said, I told you so. And then when the man died, the first thing that they did was get the goat so that we can slaughter it for meat. And then when the goat was being taken away, goat's eyes met the eyes of the mouse, and the mouse said, I told you so. And when the body eventually came and people were mourning, and then they said, go and get the cow. We have got a lot of people here now. So if you are working for a company and you are not doing your best, when the company dies, right, you will all be affected. And this is why, if you are no longer interested for working for a company, just go. Open up spaces for someone who will deal with all the frustrations that you do not want. Who knows, after you have gone, someone can be better than what you were or who you are. So don't be like the hen, the goat, or the cow. If you, and especially civil servants. Now, if you pass by the central police there, the queue for they call them good conduct certificates, that queue doesn't move. For the past 2 weeks, I've been checking. That queue doesn't move. You can stand in that queue for 2 hours. Only one person goes through, and you wonder what is happening there. So most civil servants, they've got that attitude to say, it's the government, so we are not going to work. When you start losing jobs, you will learn a big lesson. I will be back.
If we were not about you, we would not have done our best to offer you a rich portfolio of benefit options that will help you to enjoy the best healthcare at all times, from dental to critical and beyond. But we are about you, so we did. nhp.com.na. We are about you.
Fraud safety tip. E-money fraud. Never disclose a one-time PIN or OTP you receive via SMS to anyone calling you pretending to be from your bank or any other reputable institution. Fraudsters can use that one-time PIN to take control of your bank account or mobile money wallet in order to steal your money. An OTP is used to authorize a transaction or account profile creation. Your bank will never call you to ask you for an OTP. Always report any attempts like this to your bank's contact center immediately. Visit www.pen.org.na today to find out more on how you can protect yourself against fraud.
All right, you can come through 083-288-401, 083-288-401. Let's have this conversation. Good morning to you.
Hello.
Yes, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Victor, your phone doesn't go through again. What's up?
No, I'm using another phone.
Okay.
Yeah. The white compatriots in
Stampede.
who are against the uranium.
Mm.
Who are against the uranium.
Yeah.
They are doing a good thing. They are doing a good thing. They are fighting for their rights.
Mm.
And the rights of their children. Yeah. But the only difference is that when white compatriots are fighting,
Yeah.
they make headlines. But when the rest of us are fighting, we don't make headlines.
What do you mean?
The media, they are not interested.
Examples?
If I was a white guy,
Mm.
for example, if I were a white guy fighting the judiciary, I would have made headlines throughout the year.
Victor, I thought this is 2022.
Yes. Yesterday I had a hot engagement, telephonic engagement with the Prosecutor General.
Yeah.
And this is the Prosecutor General of the Republic of Namibia.
Yeah.
Advocate Martha Imarwa. Just imagine an ordinary citizen is engaging in a hot, discussion with the Prosecutor General, which is trying to make threats and trying to intimidate me. You see, She can't even go to the police and say, please talk to this guy. Because she knows that she's the one who is wrong. The system is wrong. You see, they are wrong. There is nothing they can defend. They can never report me to the police. I can harass them. I can do anything. You know, they just try to run away. They can't go to the police. This is the prosecutor general of the whole republic.
I understand,
yes, but
Victor.
If I was a white guy, I would have made the headline throughout the year, you know, front page, news, interviews upon interviews. You see, this is what the difference is.
Victor, I think there are some times when you forget, right? You remember when I was still at Informante?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you. The first story about you ran then in 2010 or 2009, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And there was another story in the Namibian, right? And then here, every morning when you call in, you make effort. It doesn't matter how much I have tried to stop you. I end up allowing you to talk. So what kind of headline do you want?
Now that is headline by default.
So you want people to run after you, and then still.
Will. It's like I just force myself through. That is the media is.
But Victor, yeah? who do you think is going to exonerate you? Is it yourself? Is it the prosecutor general? Is it the media? Who has got the final say to say, guys, this guy is innocent? Obviously, it's not you. Obviously, it's not the court. Obviously, it's not the media. Who do you think has got the final say, whom people will believe? Who?
First, it's me. I have exonerated myself.
Victor, you cannot exonerate yourself because you are not being accused of raping yourself, right? Did you rape yourself?
I mean my conscience. My conscience is exonerating myself.
That is fine. So if your conscience is clear, good then. And look, I'm not a social or what, but look now. You have kept this. I know it's a painful thing, and I have said this before to you. You have kept it in your heart, in your mind for too long. It's keeping you backwards, right? It must be an experience that you must be using now to shape your life as you move on, because you are corroding, and I know it's a painful thing. You are corroding because every other time when you call in, every conversation, you turn it around to be your conversation. And there were times when I would get Victor now again. But there are times also like, let me just listen. But if you say your conscience is clear and clean, you have got nothing. Your conscience is the only thing that you have to rely on. You have no guilty conscience, no guilty feelings. You didn't do anything. Just forget what people say, because you are keeping this story alive yourself every day. Every day. And now people will say, it's that other guy again. It's that other guy again. You are keeping the story alive again and again. I don't know why. You want to be on the radio and in the media to be talking about what you are said to have done, because no one would have known, because I just got to know about you when you got out of jail in the early days. And I remember well, I was still at the Informante when we ran that story. And if you are honest enough, you will also vouch for me. So why are you keeping this story alive? You are keeping the pain, the agony in you alive, Victor. Heal. This is the time you must heal. The time you must turn around and say, well, I've spoken enough about this. We have heard you, Victor, and people out there, they have heard you. But you keep on keeping the story. I know it was a painful thing that happened to you, but the only person who can exonerate you is not here. It's not you, it's not Martha Imarwa, it's not the judge, it's not the courts. Forget about it. I'm glad that you said your conscience is clear. So if you've got a clear conscience, map up the life from now and forget this. Like for once, I just wish that you don't talk about it when you call. For once, like we have another conversation and this one you bury it. Just bury it, Victor. You will heal. Just bury it. Stop talking about it.
The thing is that I have made the decision. I have made the decision that I'm going to fight this until the last day of my life. It doesn't matter if my life has come to a standstill. That is the wish of God. That this guy's life will just be at a standstill at one point in time, so that he can fight for his human rights. That's all. I can go down in history. Some guy.
Look, I know Ango Bwana works for the Ministry of Gender, and he talks about psychosocial support. Can you give me a call?
I don't need to talk to Uncle Bwana.
All right, Victor. Then I've given you so much time, and I know when we start talking like this, we won't agree. Victor, let me allow others to come through. Yes. All right, 083-288-401, 083-288-401. You can also come through and make your contribution. There are a lot of things that we can talk about. And of course, Victor's issue, it's a painful issue, but the only person who can exonerate him is not here. The courts cannot, he himself cannot, the PG cannot, because it's a complex matter. Whatever is being accused of, there were no 2-3 people, there were just 2 people there. So the other person must also come up and say, no, this guy is innocent, he didn't do anything. Until that happens, then Victor will be cooking in this all the other time. And when somebody talks about something for this long, it also starts to affect you, like, well, maybe he is right, maybe, but we don't know what happened. And if there's anyone who can assist, please, without us talking about it here, just call me later and I will give you Victor's number. Maybe you can assist him. Good morning.
Yes, Wanda.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Fine, yourself. You know, Victor cannot hear me because it's like he's seeing those things happening, even though there's not only him to other people. It's like he's always observing those injustices. So that's why he can't heal.
Okay.
Yeah, you can talk as much as you talk, but you can't heal because those things are still happening. And you always imagine yourself in those circumstances when it also affects other people in the country. Like that's why you cannot heal. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what to do, but I see in that time. You know, Wanda, the issue of share the cover oil. Look, the first thing that you ask, and I always ask this, where is the sovereignty of the country here? That's the starting point, because you want to keep the ownership and the control over those resources. Otherwise, it's not different from uranium gold that we have in this country, and the state still has 5%, 10% or whatever. And we are the Namibia engineers, and it's a lot of things. Because if we don't start like this, you will never get it right, my friend. You see, it is not different. Because if people use their own resources, put their people in money, in capital, in machinery, and they discover, and you are nowhere to be found. What do you think? It's not yours. People, they decide what to give you. Not for you to dictate what, but you as the owner, if you are really the owner of those resources they are saying, you can really negotiate to get even up to 40%, which you didn't put anything.
Yeah.
Because those things, they are in your land, in your country. You see? But for them, when they come to negotiate, they start to say, no, we pump all these things. And we didn't do anything. But what raw material is it? And in the farmer, it's also, uranium.
Yeah.
It's also like going in the line. Where's the sovereignty? Because you can't control. And it's painful to see white farmers that are being affected to stand up. But where's the country? Where's the government? And this is what we always call it a leadership crisis. You know, to say when leaders and the follower to some extent, especially become the root cause of the problem.
Yeah.
You see? Because this thing of uranium affected them. You see, even the nature, even the health of every people, and those that are also depending on that. But we are saying, these people are supposed to be protected by the government. By the state is to say. But when those that are leading the government cannot become the root cause of the problem again, instead of them protecting their fight, and people have to use their own resources to defend this thing, to go to what. You see? That's why I said it leads to a point where people have no trust in the government, in the country. You see? Yeah, but when you have leaders and to some extent followers who become part of the problem, then it's a leadership crisis. We are going nowhere with that confusion.
Just hang on there for me for a short break that's coming up, and you wrap up on the other side of the break. We'll be back.
There's no such thing as destiny or fate. There's only potential and what you choose to do with it. We chose to show up. We chose to put in the work. We chose to unlimit our potential. And tomorrow, we will continue to show up, to put in the work, because limiting our potential is not an option.
All right, you can wrap up.
Yeah, one day I was also at the end of the day, when we want to take these things right, let's discuss sovereignty. When we say how much government should own, and the control how things should be used, distributed, owned, and what. Those are the things that you need to get. And sovereignty everywhere. It's not restricted to business. Even to education, it must be defined. Because you need to see where is the indigenous knowledge here in our education system. These are the things that you need. But when it's not defined, I'm telling you, you will never get it right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Because you have things, you pretend to own to be rich. But you are poor. But you pretend to have a lot of resources. But those resources are not benefiting you. But somebody has to come in, put the value, tell you how to use the thing, your own resources, tell you how you should own it. Then at the end of the day, you always come to the same point. That the people remember and people are still shipping those oil. In fact, those oil are going even to be refined. Following the country that instead of even putting up like a refiner in the country so that at least the fuel price will be cheaper.
All right. Thank you so much. Tanya. All right then. Thank you for coming through. All right. 083-288-401. 083-288-401. Good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. How are you? No, I can't complain.
I'm here.
Yes, you are. Definitely.
Okay.
Hello, I'm waiting.
Oh, you're waiting?
I'm waiting for you to come through because I also am checking my time here.
Oh. I think was mentioned at the show. I'm not the show in the end. Shashina, what is the Alapong in the end and the Yakalaka Parevi? Kumakwasilan, emunya da ya ne mbota tekana nono akanitespa techo kwa kani poshwana ni ya ndani wa tangu kwa po konda chapo pasi mbapa kan siku ya njo premise na gashi mbapa kala talongo eko statsna muka boko ikaya ngeno plan sanga siku sakala depete ke seketa mshimbo hapo motex mshimbo hapo ite mono mali longa mukashana mibia ba ro pilo ndo matongo chango de to puliro ngano kwa kutek ndamna poshi mbabo wasi mbabo no mbili
yeah
ashimela kwa tumbeli ma ya ushosha hapo
all right
ndiro ngone oye kwa ndiri poisa yango
okay all right thank you
tango hapo kuninga pona
all right then okay right translate that for us.
Yeah, the caller is actually saying people should not really feel sorry for Bonatesao because he did also not feel sorry for the other colleagues that were on strike the other time with the and Shaki Shawala them. He said people should not feel sorry for that.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for that translation. Now I have the former Minister Bernard Issao's story here, where you remember that a few days back I shared with you a story where he did not surrender or reveal one of his bank accounts, and that was the bank account that was being used to help his family financially. The story is in the paper, and he has admitted that he did not declare that bank account to the prosecutor general, who is also seeking to restrain him from using the money that could have been earned from the fish rot. Good morning.
Yes, morning, Wanda.
How are you?
Now we're okay. We can't complain. Yeah. I'm also add my points to this oil thing. First of all, I just want to start with this environmental damage.
Yeah.
This environmental activists. We haven't heard anybody fighting Shell. You know, is it because it's on the shore, or is it because of what? I don't know. Because you see when Recon Africa started, there was so much noise.
Yeah.
There was so much noise. There were activists you hear around the world, people were against it. But even I don't even know when the Shell even started. We didn't even hear any update when they started looking for or started exploring. Or maybe I didn't see, or maybe you saw when did they maybe start the exploration? Did you see or did you hear anything when they started? Or
no? Yes, I shared this story last year. It was there, and I remember I shared the story here. But you are right that it's not as being spoken about as much as we are talking about Recon Africa.
Yeah, because
it's not. Yeah,
there's a competition that you can really see there. Because big American companies used to make American people from USA, Recon Africa oil, and people talk about fish fuels, how they damage. Even if you look at the phosphate mining, we were against it because it was on the sea. It will damage fish industry. But even this oil, it's in the sea. If you look at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how are the process? If this not gonna disturb fish ecosystem, or how is well drilling or well extraction? How does it happen? It's very confusing.
You are reminding me because I always talk about us the media. Yes. Now there appears to be a celebration of this discovery in some sections of the media.
Well, yeah.
And when it comes to Recon Africa, the reportage is not so good. But with this one here, it's like it's a celebration to say we have found oil or Shell has found oil.
You see now.
Yeah. So thanks for bringing that up.
But I hear in South Africa, because that thing is even close to South Africa.
You're right.
So we cannot say it's 100% Namibia now. Because I hear South Africa, like maybe in December, I hear people protesting against.
No, it was actually stopped. The court had to stop because it was an offshore seismic survey, and then the people stood up, like the Stambridge farmers are standing up now, and then the court came in to say no, stop it. and then Shell had to stop it. But it's happening here. There is a celebration in the media, and if you compare this, how the Shell story has been covered, and how the Recon Africa story is covered, then you stand back. If you understand, like you are saying here, you start to question, how is this?
Well, if I remember, this is the same Shell that damaged Delta there in Nigeria.
Exactly. It's not only in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the media also, as you were saying, they could have even, I would say, case study or correlate those two stories and say, look at the Shell.
Yeah.
Because Recon Africa, it's their first drilling. It's a new company.
Mm-hmm.
That was like their first drilling here in Namibia. But the negative, I think there's negativity that isn't us. It's outside world.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, it's a competition, so to say.
Yeah.
That which companies finds it, because it's a pricey industry.
It's a market. It's
a
tight
huge market.
Yeah, it's a tightly controlled market.
Yeah.
So any newcomer will be made to feel like they are, Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. So I've spoken here about media, and the framing that I always talk about, it's playing here. A celebration about Shell, but there is always a beating when it comes to Recon Africa. Well, someone might say because Recon Africa is mining in communities and that kind of thing, but it amounts to almost the same thing when you consider the environment. So the media can be paid to push an agenda, and it happens. And don't make no mistake. I'm not saying the media here was paid, but all what I know is that it's possible that there could be some activists who will masquerade as journalists, and then they will push this agenda. And there is, I hadn't seen it, because the South African High Court, that was end of December last year, they ordered the same Shell to stop, right, an offshore seismic survey. Right? No one said anything. So we need to see where the story is coming from, and then we need to just understand how it's being done. Good morning. Hello, good morning. That volume is too high. Morning. Yes, good morning. Thank you so much.
Yes, your colleague did finish translating.
Okay.
The other guy who comes in is Rambo said, in Namibia, Namibians even can no longer find the constructions work.
Yeah.
All the work has been taken away by the Zimbabweans.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually wanted to put my input or either my idea.
Yeah.
It's how the government has to go along.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is government is elected by people and is empowered by people.
Indeed.
But once they got the power, they exclude people that actually gave them the power.
Mm.
Now, this has to do with the natural resources, like the oil that has been discovered.
Mm-hmm. That is if it's there.
Yeah, that is now if it's there.
Mm.
But we have a lot of our natural resources where Stephen does not have any stake on it.
Mm.
And that is because we don't have a policy or either an act. Right now, as we are speaking, these people in the north that has been sent by the government, I don't know whether it is the parliamentary member, people that has been appointed to go and do research, or either to do the consultations to ask people about the legalizing of abortion and the homosexual, all those things.
Yeah.
I think this was the same method that they were actually supposed to use. Go out there and ask the people, look, we have this natural resource that has been found in country, and then we wanted you to, so we are actually gathering the database of the students as to how, what do you want? Do you want 10%? Do you want 40%? Do you want 30%? Do you want 60%? Do you want the products to be refined in this country? What do you want? governments really need to educate people when it comes to natural resources. Because these things of them just go there and sit and then sign their books in the under the tables, and then you just hear booms, there's a mine open somewhere else, the community is being affected, and they are not getting anything. It's very bad, you know. And then they must include the communities. They must include
the
people.
stakeholders.
Things that doesn't make sense is the one they want to go to the nation and say, look, there is something like this, but when there is something valuable.
No, everything makes sense here.
Abortion.
Homosexuality and abortion.
Look, when our mother gave birth to us, they didn't plan for us.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Yeah. No, but look, yesterday I was saying here that, look, I wait for the time when State House will be having press conferences to just take a look at how far have we dealt with poverty. Now, how far have we dealt with unemployment? How far have we dealt with this and that affecting people? And you are actually right to say consultation must not be on abortion and homosexuality. But consultation must also be on now we found oil, right? What do you think? Like you were saying, but you never get that. The business decisions are not for the common man. But the things like you are saying that have got to do with sex, and it's abortion is got to do with sex, and homosexuality is also to do with sex. The common man must decide.
The reason why people have to be considered is because they are part of the society.
Exactly.
And the society also has to benefit from that stakes from natural resources. It's just the same. Yeah, it's just the same.
Yeah.
So this is where Africans always fail, because people don't know exactly that a young man who's actually growing up in schools is being taught about a diamond. In Namibia, you can find diamond cups, but they don't know the value of that commodity.
Yeah.
You see, that is the problem. And this is where people start to have an interest to actually even to come up with something in order to add the value on it. The other problem that I'm actually saying is that we have sent a lot of scholars outside. And then when we come back, we reap nothing. We go, at the end of the day, we reap nothing. Do you understand what I'm saying? I just don't understand. We are here criticizing about the system, the education systems in the country, but we happen to send people to go abroad to go and study for 5 or 7 years. But when you come up, when these people come back, obviously they come up with nothing. They are just salary costers. They just in the office with us. Say, for example, you have a mechanical engineering. That's what a person that is supposed to sit in the office. It isn't supposed to be in the manufacturing activity to design and set up something. But these people, they only come and maintain. You see, doctors that are only there to distribute Panados. But they went abroad to study. Is it the education or is it us, our mentality? What is wrong with that?
I think we have we doubt ourselves, and that doubt has been drilled in us for quite too long. And I've been saying here, if someone comes and says to me, we can't do this, I don't believe them. But it's what we have been told. We can't do this, we can't do this. And we then sow doubt in people. There's a lot that goes on, and you just have to look around you and say, but this I could have done it, and this I could have done it, and this I could have done it. And I will tell you, if you are going to ask John Walenga today how he was made fun of at Kran when he said he had an idea of a talk on the radio.
I understand. I have been listening to him.
He was doubted. He was doubted.
Of course.
Here, yes.
Yeah.
Now, and that drill, imagine if he had believed those who were doubting him. Imagine.
Of course, then this radio could not be in existence.
That's the thing. So we need to be arrogant, and we need to defy the stereotypes that we as black people have been, the boxes that we have been packed into. And these days we are packing ourselves voluntarily into those boxes. We need to get out of those.
Of course, yeah.
Yes, and this is why Dr. Ofiku, remember that he had suggested that the rhino that place out in Ochomwese, his idea of establishing a medical research center. Now, there's no money. Those who had said they would come with money. You see, that's exactly how it works.
Of course, yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, but I just want the parliament, or not the parliament, to commission a commission that they have to go and do the consultations in the communities about those natural resources. People should be educated. People should understand. People themselves, when they present an investor that comes here, you say, look, this is the database we actually obtain from our community. This is what they want, not the president or the minister. Just present what your people are saying, because they also have stakes on that commodity.
No, the
That's
people
the only
must
thing that they have to
speak.
do.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
so
the people
much.
must speak. Thank you very much.
All right, and he has just reminded me of you remember the high-level panel on economy. Who did they consult? Because I think they then came up with the auctioning idea. Was the auctioning idea of fish something that came out of the communities, or it was a few people who just sat and then said, we need to do this and that and that? So why would you consult people on selected matters, and on other matters you think people do not matter? Good morning.
Sorry.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Yes, Don.
Yeah. About, you talked about the Stamp Farmers Association.
Yeah.
Yeah, refusing the mining of uranium. You see, that is what, you see, let me say whites, because when we say Stamp Farmers Union, I don't think there is a black person there. If there is maybe 3 or 5, most of them are white people. For them, unity, they knew what to do. And for them, if something doesn't benefit them, they will never support it. Because they survive in that farming, what they do in agriculture. That is what their income is. And that is permanent. Not temporary to say that mine will close. But if it was there to us, first thing we could have thought about is employment. We must be employed. We will forget that all these years, all these decades, we have been surviving through agriculture and so on. Look at those drilling in Kavango. You see, people were complaining, what about this? But who would listen to them? Or maybe there was no unity, so the people said, look, let us approach the court.
But you remember that the situation in Kavango, people were heavily divided.
Well, you see, because there is no unity. That's what I'm saying. If the people united themselves and say, look, let us sit, let us put money together, whatever, let us approach the court, let us put our case down, it could have helped them. You see, although maybe that those people could have said, okay, if you want to drill here, first, before you start, we need A, B, C. Look at the roads in Rundu, for example. You see? Look at the roads in Rundu. Look at the road itself. There is clinics, the hospital is dirty. They're supposed to say, no, do A, B, C, D for us. If you want, at least let us benefit. You see? But to us, it's just this one push this side, the other one push that side. When the other one is pulling it down, the other one is pushing it up. That is a problem.
Yeah, but look, Don, people take advantage of our poverty situation. You remember that there were some food parcels that were given out in Kavango.
Yeah.
You remember that? So if you are needy, right, you don't have some of the things that you think you must have. I will bring those things. No, I can simplify this. If you have got a daughter whom I want, and you are poor, I start spoiling you first before I can get to your daughter.
Yeah, but traditionally, when it was, if when I was poor or rich, traditionally, if you want my daughter, there was, how can I say, a minimum requirement. You see, you must construct for me a traditional hut, you must plant a mango seed, you must give me cattle, whatever you call yourself for who I am. That was tradition, and it was constitutional at that time. Now, when you say they took advantage of that, yes, because poor people, they don't understand.
Yeah.
We have academics in Kawango itself. You see, how many academics do you have? You see, why could they not come together as academics, leave the poor, as academics? How many PhD holders do you have there? You see, there are a lot. They're supposed to come together and say, look, our people doesn't understand, they don't understand what they are receiving, okay, fine. But our people, our mothers, because they are from there, they grew up in those villages, you see. You see, they came just here because of work and so on, or their profession.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying to us, we lay unit, because the PhD, if you put them together, everyone wants to be seen as him knowing everything. They don't come together and say, okay, let us walk the talk, let us do A, B, C, D. Like the whites, you see. And other thing also like this uranium or whatever. In Namibia, we have millionaires. We have people with money here. They are here. Why can't one of them, if the government can't even own a mine, why can't a Namibian, a single Namibian, or even 10 of them come together as the same like unit, then form a joint venture? And so let us also have our own mine here. Let us see where those people are taking those things. Let us see how much are they benefiting, are they making. Then those people can tell us, no, these people have been cheating us, they have been lying to us. We know that they are making billions of dollars that side. You see? But to us, how will we know? Because they are just a mining engineer, mining manager, agent manager, that's all. You see? Do you know how much I take making from your uranium? You see? That is the thing. Let us also have Namibians, if the government can't, let the Namibian people do. Please agri-bank and so on. Let us also go to the how can the government approach the government. So these ABCs, they are rich, they have money. Please assist them in this way so that they can have our mine in Namibia. Let us see how does things work. Even if they mess up, at least we know.
Okay. All right, Don. Thank you so much. All right, but what Don is saying, the danger is that you will be sanctioned. And this is how the world works. If we start taking over what we own, you won't be able to find a market. They will close all the markets. Now, I'll give you, before I take this call, there's the example of El Salvador. El Salvador is a 40-year-old leader, Nayib Bukele. Now, Nayib Bukele, last year in September, declared that the cryptocurrencies become official. Now, IMF is saying, you stop doing it. You know what? The US dollar that the IMF uses is useless as compared to the cryptocurrencies. It's useless. So if El Salvador pushes other countries to adopt cryptocurrencies, it means that the US dollar, which the United States of America uses as its strength, that strength is taken away, right? Because you don't need the US dollar to go and buy. You don't need the USD, and even if anything else becomes, digital, electronic, but the IMF is pushing hard to say, can you please stop this? The reason why, because once the US dollar is affected, therefore the power that the United States has is also gone, and the power that the IMF has is also gone, because cryptocurrency is there. It's not, you can't touch it. It's actually out there, and this is exactly why there's this push. But the El Salvador guy is saying, away with you, I am going to do this for my people. Good morning.
Yes, morning, Wanda.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. The sanction first.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sanction come when when you are not processing things, that is how you will be sanctioned. Because, like us in Namibia, our police. Our policies are protected everybody who comes to invest.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, those FDI, they come with money. And the Namibians, they are scared of risking what they have. Remember, we don't have a lot of wealthy people in our country. Only those who are multi-millionaire, maybe, and it's scary for you to invest in mining, for example. Yeah. So, as you are saying now that Namco why can't Namco go to Qatar and require a share in Qatar oil? The thing is, does the Namco buying crude oil, or is just in the sale of the oil product? Those are the things that you might end up not qualified because of that.
Why then can't we change the law?
Yeah. So if we're changing the law, is that before we discussing about the storage, we're supposed to discussing about the refine. Because the refine is the one that is giving you a green light to go and buy the kush oil, right? Yeah. So those are now the things that we are failing, because you just build yourself a depot to go buy beers from brewery in Namibia.
Yeah.
And selling to the people. It doesn't make any difference that you are making beer. Yeah, those are now the things. Okay, and the other issue.
All right, before you move on to the next one,
okay.
Do you really think that people in Namibia don't have money?
Yeah, yes, because I come across with a lot of those who are having $500 or $600 million. They are scared of even investing on this solar energy.
Why?
Because they say, if I harvest this, let me say if I put in about my 250.
Yeah.
The number power choosing, we are capitalized on monopoly the system, right? We're choosing who to benefit.
Yeah.
Not to everybody that your product will be bought in the time you want it. You understand me there?
Yeah.
You need to be connected to non-power guys, so that, because you are now a lot of them selling the same product. That is what they are saying.
So it's actually, so you're actually saying it's because of fear that they might lose their money. Yeah.
Because those wealthy people, they don't lose their money on something that they are not sure on it.
But why wouldn't they be sure?
Yeah, they are sure because they are doing ventures with the existing company. That they are there.
Yeah.
That's why now when this FDI coming in, they want to be a part of it with a small portion as Namco is getting 10% on it. You see what the issue is. Instead of them taking over 60% or 70%, like the deposit that was offered by our leader Mugabe, that they haven't owning 51%. But look at those people, 51% didn't work. Because they are selling more secretly now. Yeah, because of the fear. It's not that they don't have money.
Yeah.
It's the fear of that if I'm standing on my own, what if I didn't get a buyer?
But what should be done so that that fear goes away?
Yeah, this kind of the thing that we needed to introducing our guys to go out there, like now the Dubai Expo and what.
Yeah.
To buy shares on those companies, on existing companies as well now, partner with. Because if I call or I review what you are saying about the agents that they are booking tourism people to come in Namibia. So you see, they are paying US dollar, but the shares, the 60% of the Namibian lodges are coming to Namibia, but the 40% left is there. Because those people are saying, I'm the one who get for you a customer. You understand? It's already getting 40%. So 60%, yes, it's coming to Namibia, where now we deducted our 15% of the government.
Yeah.
So even when you are saying that we're borrowing money or we are renting money, we are going to getting money to paying. Yeah, Namibia is rated upper middle class because of the income of the day. You understand? The revenue that we are collecting 500 million a month, which now it's expenditure. The money that we're spending every day to our own daily services and daily business things. So if you are now out of that 500, if you are taking 100 to pay back what you are owing, we are still surviving. That is how you're making that. Namibia is a upper middle class country. Anybody can give us because our mining, our agriculture, our fishing sector is making, but not that making to be a sustainable country for itself. So those are now the things. I think I take up more time.
Right.
But I want
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for making sense. Yeah, you can quickly.
So this issue of Benani, for example, the 45 years old, it doesn't say you're retiring from a political your political activity.
Yeah.
It asks you to be a democracy. How do I say it? Follow democracy policy. Because you participate in 5 years to be a presidential candidate, for example. If you're losing that, you're giving another member chance to be also taking up your party to leading the country.
Yeah.
So until you get a chance, you go and come back, you go and come. You don't just come to when you are 26-year-old and continually in the party as a president until you get a chance when you are reaching 76 years old. No, it's not like that. So as you're giving the example of Joe Biden, he has been there in the system, yes, to be a senator, to be a what, but he also taking a chance to be a party candidate, but unfortunately never be qualified. So until he gets a chance now when he's 76 years old. Anyway, thank you for that,
so much.
Wanda.
All right. The other issue, because when I was reading around this issue of investment, there's an element of risk. Now, he has just reminded me of the fear that people will fear, what if I can't find oil? What if I can't find uranium? Therefore, my money would have gone. So the reasoning behind Namibia getting 10% is that the companies that are coming to explore for oil here, they are sinking a lot of money. Therefore, it is risky. They might lose money. So that's the reasoning. So I think the whole issue then must be, how do you guarantee those business people who are going to try businesses? How do you cushion them to say, if they don't get what they are looking for, at least they won't walk away empty-handed. They will get something. I think before sinking money, people must also be sure that what they are looking for is actually there. So the risk is what these countries, then they bear the risk. NAMCO will not bear any risk in the case that there's no oil that has been found there. They won't bear any risk. They won't suffer any losses because, like I said earlier on, they may not even have put in a single cent. So it's the risk that is being said it will cost much. But, well, the fear, like this listener said here, is also what's keeping our people away from investing in these high-risk sectors. Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
We are trying.
No, good. We need to.
Risk is at the bottom of the feeder.
Yeah.
It's at the bottom, not in the top.
Yeah.
Either in the middle.
What is at the top?
What we need to understand as African is that the exploitation of African resources.
Yeah.
It's at the center, it's on the top. And then the control of your resources.
Yeah.
It becomes second. There is no issue of risky. They know.
Yeah.
So how long they've been here, but they are not leaving.
They
You
still
think
come.
all the companies that are running here, Yeah, it's not our company. It's not African. Nothing. Zero.
Yeah.
But they having a specific target which they explode first before they come to that, because this is becoming a reserved area. The Middle East is done. Then they exactly know where to go.
Yeah.
To Africa. That's why you see what is happening in Mali, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Ivory Coast. All those, you see, we African, we don't let, even when we talk about this investment, it's not our investment, it's their investment.
Yeah.
As long as we have unrest, then they tap. You do not know. Look what is happening in Mozambique. What is happening in DRC Congo? It's an example. Are there peace there? No. What is the resource in Congo? They are tapping it. Why are they going there if there's war? Why are they not coming to Namibia where we don't have war? This is a sad reality which we need to evaluate as people. And think critically. And I don't know.
Yeah.
2020, we were told by those who were leading us and mislead us at the same time that the continent of Africa, the gun will be silent. and today I see coup d'etat after coup d'etat.
No, it's like they put some petrol onto a fire that was about to die.
Yes, and we are so weak. When I see African leaders at the organization level, they are not happy. All they say, we condemn. And then after you condemn, then what? But where is that African standing force? We heard about it when Gaddafi was attacked there. They spoke about it.
Yeah, but who is going to fund it?
Doesn't it? We have resources. Why can we fund it?
Now,
the resources are there.
Are you telling me that we can have an African force that can be funded by us when we couldn't fund the building of the AU headquarters?
No, because that our mind is captured. It's not that we cannot fund it. We can. Those that are at the top.
Yeah.
Their interest is not what you and I talk about. We can. We have enough resources. It's just like African agriculture.
Yeah.
You see, African agriculture, we are more dependent on this donor fund, and then these friends of goodwill that's coming to us.
Yeah.
And then we tend to forget. You don't need to look far. You just go to Israel. Look how Israelis are doing with their agriculture, what technology they are using. Now, if we abolish these things of donor funding, and then this friend of their names always change from time to time.
Yeah.
That we go far. As long as we have to go back to the basics and realize that no, we need this. It can be done. But the challenge which is there is the interference from outside. And then we are also having recruits of those from outside. We have them here. And they are collaborating and they are taking information so that we remain backwards. And then these individuals become in the pocket of those individuals.
Yeah.
The moment we cut that out, then I tell you, my brother, we are moving in a direction where any nation goes. But as long as we talk about these things where you out everything from underwear to toothpick, you are outsourced. You will never get anywhere, because the person where you outsource is determined what to give you every day. This investment that we are talking about, how can you talk about investment where you have the whole nation is languishing in poverty? People don't have houses, people don't have potable water, people don't have health. If you go to our institute, you talk about education. This education that we have, which produce men and women to be job seekers, and when they get to the office, they only be told to remember what they were told, and then apply what they remember. That's not the education that we're supposed to have. We're supposed to have education system that produce thinkers, people who can think and come up with something. We can't have education system that tells you what is the longest river in Africa, so that we do what we say. That's a God given. It's yours. You know how long it is.
Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with scientific technology. Look now, even this doctor that we produce ourselves here, these doctors that are going to distribute only how to know how to count Panado in the hospital, but how to heal. Look, go to the university. Hospital, these professors at the
so much.
All right, my brother.
All right, thank you so much. All right, it's 2 minutes to 9, and I need to give it over to Chicken.
Good morning, Wanda.
How are you?
Good. It's a wonderful day, Wanda.
Should be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know, me, I can complain.
Are you rolling alone again today?
No. As we are a crew of three free your minders in the morning, including now the audiences. We are just waiting for you to stand up and go.
All right. Okay, but it's 2 minutes to 9 now, so.
We can't encroach in your time. As we are SWAPO members.
I won't allow that.
We'll steal your time, Wanda. Don't play.
I'm apolitical.
I'll put you in a position to implicate yourself.
All right. Anyone who wants to participate?